Hey, how's it going? MC Seth here, coming at you from the spare room. This time we're going to be talking about 5 tips that you can use on RedBubble to help make your print-on-demand arsenal even stronger than it already is. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Right, so I'm not going to waste any of your time. You know who I am. I'm Joseph, MC Seth, DJ Seth, whatever you want to call me, it's fine. I run the Serial Carnage YouTube channel, and I'm going to give you tips, tricks, and tutorials about how to make your print-on-demand site as good as it can be. So let's just get into the first tip, shall we? So you can see I've got this vegetable pattern design here. And now the first tip I wanted to show you is if I wanted to make a different color for baby clothes. Now this is something that took me a little while to figure out, so this is quite an important tip. So if I change this to black and I wanted all my designs black, including baby clothes, this does not change the baby clothes into black, even though they are here. Now you can see that if you click this nearly invisible icon here, that you can see that kids clothes here has got a defaults button. So you'd press that and then you can see all of the different colors coming up for the baby clothes. Now you don't have to click them all, just click one of them. So we change that to black, and then you'd apply the changes and that would make the baby clothes black, or choose whatever color you want them to be. So that's quite important, and make sure you switch them on as well. I don't know why I just switched it off. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is also within this same screen. Now you can see here that this is different from this pattern, and now that's because we've chose to use a pattern. And now I use the off-grid pattern when I usually do things like this, because you can see the regular grid, it kind of just looks too, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but this is kind of offset, so it looks a little bit better. And that's tip number 2. So quickly on to tip number 3. Now, okay, tip number 3 is going to be to do with your profit margins. You need to really adjust these to stay relevant, basically, because I noticed that earlier on this year RedBubble did change a lot of their prices, so I had to go back in and readjust my margins to make sure everything was popping up at X99. Now your X99 might be different because dollars and pounds and euros are all different from each other, but I base it on the English pound. So I try to make sure that everything ends in .99 because the UK is my biggest customer base at the moment. So that's just what I do, and I would suggest it because it's more to do with price psychology. People are a lot more likely to buy this classic t-shirt for $15.99 rather than if I had it cheaper at like $15.63 or $15.88. At $15.99 it's a more attractive number for some reason. I don't know, I'm not a psychologist, so I don't understand that fully, but apparently that's true. And you can see on the far right here you can adjust your margins. Now you can see all my margin, you can go into the 0.111s, as you can see here, 24.11%, and you can adjust it like that to get that 99. Now I noticed when I went back and changed some, it was very difficult to make it land on the .99 that it was the first time round. So I don't know whether they changed some things, but you can put 2 numbers in after the decimal place to try and reach that 0.99. I'm not going to tell you what to adjust your markup as, but I think an important tip is to have that X99. So you can see all of my margins are slightly different. It starts at 20%, so I just make sure that I just knock it up to the next 99 or 49 or whatever. And if it, for some reason, like I was mentioning earlier, it won't fall on the .99, I'd put it at .95 because that's also playing in the same price psychology. And you can see I've done that with all of them. And now once you've done that, a very important thing to do is apply these markups to all my existing work. Now if you have other work that you rate as more value than other works, then don't do this. You'll have to do them individually if you have work that you would say is worth more than the majority of your other work. But I just price all of mine the same. It keeps it very, very simple. And also one thing to note as well, in t-shirt, this has a lot of other items in it. As you can see, it starts at $15.99 but it ends at $38.15, so you're never going to get all of the items in that bracket to actually fall on X99. It's just the way RedBubble works. So there's that tip. on to the next. So the next tip that I wanted to get into is scaling. Now this is very important, and I learned this from Phil at TMG, so thanks Phil for that. Because you can make one design and fall in love with it, but if it's a good design and people are buying it, why not make it into more than one design? For example, I have this Wiltshire design here on a white background with, well, it's not actually on a white background, they're on transparent backgrounds, but I've chose white as the background for this black text, and the same there for the white text, and there's also a rainbow version because, you know, Pride is a massive event, and Mardi Gras and all that stuff, so there's something for that. So there's 3 designs here, and that's just one way of scaling this design. The other way of scaling this design is not everybody's from Wiltshire, so you've got the Worcestershire, Wigtownshire and West Sussex, West Yorkshire. I think there's 117 counties that I've got from Great Britain in here, and they've all been scaled twice, so there's 3 versions of each county, so there's over 300 designs of just these county things. And you know, Britain's not a lot like America. People don't fall in love with their county over here, so this is just something I was practicing with, and it didn't take me that long to do. It took me a couple of days because obviously you're limited to 60 uploads a day, so this took me about 6 days to get them all uploaded, but I wasn't making anything else at the time, so I just fell into that. So, and you can scale with anything. So this is just one example. If you make say a pattern, a red pattern, you can make that a blue pattern, a yellow pattern, a pink pattern, and upload them all. So that scaling is very important, and it's a way to get your work seen in more ways than one, basically. And you can see that these have got a couple of favorites on them. Well, there's 1, 2 there, so you know, it's a good way to get your work seen. Last and final tip is stickers. Now stickers are very important because they're very bloody cheap, and a lot of the other items, if you have them, say like if you just listed bed covers and duvets, everything's like very expensive and it might turn people away, whereas, you know, stickers from £1, that's very enticing, especially when you can see that you can buy any 4 and get 25% off, or buy any 10 and get 50% off. So that's why these stickers are going from £1, and you can see these are a few of my designs. And if you're not sure what to place your design on, just place it on a sticker, because more than likely someone's going to buy it because it's very cheap. So I haven't really got any more to say about that, but stickers are going to be your #1 source. Not #1 source, but they're going to be a great source for getting sales and ranking up your other products, because as soon as somebody buys your design on a sticker, it's going to rank up that design on t-shirts and everything else, if that's what you want to be selling. So that's a very good way of doing that, and that is my last tip. So there you have it, guys. That's my 5 tips for increasing your sales on RedBubble. And so there's my 5 tips on how to increase your sales on RedBubble. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got anything to ask me, just leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll try and get around to answering, okay? Other than that, have a good day, and I'll see you soon.